Avionics. Let's talk to Appareo's Kris Garberg. What's new?
Well, what's new is flight data monitoring for us. We've had a flight data monitoring product for many years called the Vision 1000, and we really wanted to change that up a little bit and add some new features. So we released this Aeros 400 here this year. It's certified with the FAA. We've already been shipping it and installing it in a lot of rotorcraft, of course, but some fixed wing, and really pushes the boundaries of a safety management system and a flight operations quality assurance program. One of the neat things we did with this, for one, put in a 4K video camera, so It's a real nice picture, nice video imaging, but we've got wireless offload.
Okay.
One of the challenges with flight data, if you're not getting the data and consuming it into a program, especially on a timely basis, the data's old or it gets missed. So we made it where it offloads wirelessly over a cellular network. So aircraft lands, powers down, and this connects to a cell modem or cell network, offloads the flight data into our flight data monitoring software called Envision, and then the safety managers or whoever's managing the flight data can view the data, run it against event triggers, and really help with the safety of the flight department. Of course, one thing is accident investigation. We don't like to investigate accidents, but if we can learn from that accident, that helps. But biggest thing is
in any accident investigation, there's never anything such as not too much information.
Right.
There's an investigator out there who isn't looking for more. So something like this along the lines can be pretty powerful.
It is. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So
4K is worth how much?
Yeah, 4K is worth a lot, and then you talk about video, right? How many seconds and minutes you get, and it's in the millions, right? So it's worth a lot of words. And so you get to, with the camera and the audio, you really understand, and then it's a blend. You want all the data, flight data, audio and video makes a big difference. So
does this correlate against any of the flight data? Is there any correlation or cooperation with other systems?
So this captures about 13 different flight parameters, all internally.
Okay.
We do have an AirInc 429 receiver in here, so you can connect to a avionics bus, a 429 bus, to be able to pull off hundreds of parameters if you wanted to.
Holy smokes!
And run events against those. But yeah, full self-contained unit, so it's real easy to install. Fairly low cost when it comes to the airplane world. But yeah, the value of lives now is I know it's hard to put a value on a life, but it keeps going up, right? And we want to save more lives.
Well, especially since in any accident or incident scenario, it's one thing to explain what happened, it's another to avoid the next iteration.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we want to learn from it. And there's many accidents we've been party to that we've learned information on. We've changed training programs, policies inside of flight departments that said, let's not do that again. And that's the best thing to do.
What is the decision process that occurs at a company like yours when you're looking at a potential new product? It's one of the things I find fascinating. Why do you build something like this? What was the impetus behind it? What was the process in getting it to market? Who did you talk to? What are the things that make up your process? Because some of the stuff you've done in the past has been pretty pivotal. Sporties will tell you they've made a fortune off of you guys.
They have, yeah. So we find a market and a need in a market, and sometimes you could interview customers or pilots, aircraft owners, and they maybe don't know, right? Like what that next thing would be because they just haven't seen the technology yet. So when we created the original Stratus, ADS-B was just getting talked about.
How many million of those did you build? Or so it seems.
we don't tell you, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's still
they're everywhere.
It's still selling great. Actually, to this day, we're on the third version of it. Mm-hmm. But that product didn't exist, and XM Weather did. So you could get in a TCAS system. Well, for myself to put a TCAS and a Sirius XM or an XM receiver in my aircraft, it was expensive. So we created a module, the Stratus, that was using the FAA's ADS-B system, and there's no subscription, and it game changed. Had a certified GPS, and you're getting weather and traffic and attitude information at the fingertips of you, and you just didn't have that before. So now you had glass cockpit almost to an iPad.
At a cost factor that was unheard of.
Yeah, in the hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars, right?
What cracked me up was seeing a friend of mine with a little kit fox, all well equipped and everything else, and he had everything. He had every piece of information you could ever want. And a bloody kit fox.
Right, right.
Funny.
Yeah, I mean, we have some airline customers that still use Stratus. The Blue Angels fly with Stratus, right? We just had to get them some more units. They use them on their cross-country flights, and you're talking sophisticated aircraft, but they want to have, you know, the situational awareness and backup, attitude and the traffic and the weather. And so, you know, when we go into looking at a product, it's like, what can we actually make a difference on? Stratus, the original Stratus products made a big difference. And then we forayed into a transponder because that was, you know, a requirement. But you look at every one of our products as our safety enhancing products. Stratus for sure has saved lives, you know, by having that information at your fingertips. Flight data recorders saves lives. Every one of our products we have is a safety enhancing product. Even a USB power charger, because we're flying with devices nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, your phones, your iPads, and whatever, you keep them charged. So it's
and add some redundancy to
right,
everything.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as enough.
Yeah.
The current industry is talking about issues with supply chain and finding employees, and either one, getting properly trained people, or worse, properly trained people who want to work. And this has been a theme throughout the last couple of days. How's it going by you?
You know, very similar things. So I'm on the AEA board here, and we had our board meeting on Sunday, and that was two large topics. Workforce development is a challenge, right? We need to develop the workforce and get them to come into aviation. And it's not one group. The AEA board, the AEA group can't do that themselves. Gamma does the same thing. AOPA is trying to. It's a team effort here where we need every single one to try to promote aviation to younger generations, even military programs, people coming out of the military to get into avionics business. But it's an awareness thing. You know, when people think you're in aviation, like, oh, what do you fly for? You know, I'm like, no, I'm a pilot, but I'm a president of an avionics company, right? You can be in marketing, you can be in sales, you can be in engineering, you can be in product support. But yeah, workforce development is a key going forward. We have many positions open that we can't fill. And then the parts challenges are continuing to get worse, in my view. And one of the challenges, I think, of that is it's actually causing a disruption of innovation, meaning we're not actually working on as many new projects right now as I would like to, because current engineers are working on getting products and parts to work on our existing products. Mm-hmm. So you're taking engineering dollars and time to spend on just replacing an FPGA from this model to this model and write code to make this work instead of working on the next new product. And the prices, we've seen 500% increase on certain parts.
You're not the first person to mention that.
Yeah, I had for an example, at a $23 part on a product of ours, we did a parts buy at $750.
Whoa.
And we're just happy to get them, right?
Yeah.
And these aren't products that we make a lot of money on, right? It's challenging.
Not anymore,
and
anyway.
It changes every day, right? So one day you say we can get 200 of this part, the next day it's like, actually you can't. You know, it's different. So it's our purchasing team, which we've had to grow, is saying that we have many months to, well into next year where we think maybe it's going to start easing up, and it's not looking good.
What could help? Where are the solutions?
I think some of the things that are driving it is some of the workforce, right? There's less people that are working in these. The factories did shut down. There's actually Chinese factories right now that are shut down again because of COVID this week. They have this zero tolerance policy. So, and then the demand is the highest, right? Every device, look at all the devices you have around here, right? They all have this similar components, and that keeps increasing. The cars, all the car companies, all the mobile devices, everything we have has got electronic components in it. And so the demand is an all-time high and is going to continue to increase. And then we've got less people that want to work in these electronics industries or in factories building products. So, and it takes a lot of money to spin up a fab shop. It's like a $10 billion investment. So and it takes a year to 2 years, and so it's challenging. And I don't know the exact answer, but some of it is we got to increase the capacity.
So what's next for y'all?
Continuing to innovate with new technologies. We're still going down more flight data monitoring products. You'll see hopefully some new announcements here later this year on another product, but a lot of it's in software using artificial intelligence. So you can start predicting, predicting the way people are flying and how to really and increase the safety of that. But that's the big part of it right now.
AI is another term that's getting thrown around a lot, and there have been some very interesting applications. Avidyne with Pilot Eye and a number of others that are choosing to really innovate on the bleeding edge, and it's fun to see. And more important than anything else, I think it's the kind of thing that's going to keep the U.S. market in particular competitive. So we'll see how that goes down the line. Any special announcements for Oshkosh per se?
There will not be any new announcements at Oshkosh as of right now. So,
bummer.
Well, I had the Sun and Fun this week, and then or next week, and then prepare for Oshkosh. But as of right now, probably not any new announcements yet.
Well, we'll see at Sun and Fun. We're Sun and Fun's digital daily, and their media partner, and we're just not going to be sleeping much for the next
one of my favorite
couple
shows.
of weeks. I enjoy it. I continue to enjoy it. The nice part is that the transition to new leadership could not have been better. When I talked to Lights and they finally let us in on who the new guy was going to be, and we find out Gene Conrad, who we've known for a number of years and is a 30-year Oshkosh volunteer and the whole bit, and somebody who's really one of us, it's obvious that the organization's going to be in good hands. And I've talked to Gene probably about a dozen times in the last couple of weeks, and he's drinking from the fire hose.
I'm
but
sure,
he's excited about the potential, but he's also very impressed with his workforce and thinking about just what he needs to do to make their lives a little bit easier so they can do bigger and better things down the line.
Good.
We'll see how that all works out. I would be very interested to see where you go with this, but I have to ask, what other technologies are attracting your interest?
I started on the artificial intelligence, so we can start doing similar to what Avidyne was looking at, but we can do object recognition. This product here, actually, with the image processor and we're using a Jetson Nano board in here, we can actually do like object recognition and optical gauge recognition. So you can recognize those things and then and superimpose them. But we also developed our own neural language model for speech recognition for aviation. So we believe we have the largest corpus of QA'd, transcribed aviation language right now. And so we have two different applications out there.
That's got to have some value.
Yeah, so we have two different applications out there that we're still continuing to have pilots fly with, and one's called Stratus Horizon Pro, and then our Stratus Insight, which is our electronic flight bag, like a ForeFlight competitor, Garmin Pilot competitor. But we do one of our differentiating factors with that is the voice recognition. So a pilot can, read basically any transmission coming over the radio. It records it just as an utterance, and it's just like text messages almost. Just looks at it. You can tap to replay the audio, but you can also read it. And so we're improving the performance of that, because that's only one. Once you have that language model really dialed in, then you can do a lot of other things.
When you screw up your clearances.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. A lot of times I don't have to sit and quickly write down those clearances because it's all same thing with
you
ADAS.
You are my new best friend.
Yeah.
Well, man.
It's a simple system, and we can, but complex behind the scenes, as engineering would say, but it's, as the pilot, and it's getting better with the accuracy.
I'll be darned. I wasn't aware of some of the things you're working on, but that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We need to communicate a little bit better and keep an eye on making sure we get your news and so forth. So be sure to reach out. And of course, since we've got a number of venues, both through what we're doing with video, with audio, and with written digital and so forth. So we'd be very happy to get that information out to people, and more important, maybe do a deep dive with you one of these days and get a little bit more background on what y'all are up to.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for spending time with us here with Airborne and Aero News.
News Network's coverage of the 65th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from New Orleans, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Vantage is Avidyne's family of all-new flight display systems for retrofit and forward-fit applications. Initial certification will be Vantage 12, retrofit glass for legacy Cirrus aircraft. Vantage 12 brings advanced capabilities and adds new life to Cirrus aircraft, including large 12-inch diagonal hybrid touchscreen displays, 3D synthetic vision, and split-screen capabilities. Additional Vantage programs will be announced in the future.